Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramtin from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Satnam, and welcome to episode 31 of the Heart Centered Revolution podcast. We are so grateful to have you here listening to our message and be part of this revolution of living more consciously, of living from our heart, of really taking some time to connect with ourselves. So we just really honor you and are grateful to you for being here. So this is a great episode. It's all about how to go beyond the conditioning of the mind. The discussion's a little bit shorter than normal, but when I listened to the content, I just knew I had to share it with you. And after the discussion, I'll lead you through a beautiful pranayama practice that helps you clear karma. So if you feel like you're stuck in a rut or like you keep ending up in the same situation over and over again, this pranayama might actually help you burn some of that karma that is leading you to kind of repeat the same experience over and over. And at the very end, my friend Heather and I are going to share the details of our Renew Year retreat with you. Again, this is a Kundalini Yoga and Conscious Nutrition retreat that we are hosting over the new year. So stick around at the end if you want the details on that. Before we jump into Ramtin's part of the episode, I want to just give you a heads up that it might sound a little bit different because this actually wasn't a recording during one of his classes. Ramtin actually records his thoughts in preparation for, sessions with clients or for classes. He records them into an audio recorder, and they're typically not a great fit for podcast episodes because he's just kind of like thinking out loud. But this one I really thought would be great to share. But you might notice some, distractions in the audio and things like that. And so I'd love your feedback. If you want more episodes like this that are kind of just stream of consciousness that Ramtin puts into his audio recorder, or if the audio is just too distracting, I'd also like to know that too. So just feel free to send me an email, jen@heartcenteredrevolution.com, if you have strong feelings either way. All right, let's get into it.
Whatever you're consciously offering, whatever you're consciously bringing into the level of consciousness and awareness becomes part of your subconscious mind. Whatever you're consciously aware of, you're able to change and redirect. Whatever you're consciously aware of, and you don't want it to be as such, you could change. If you're not conscious of what you're doing, your behavior, your anger, your way of depression, you're going to be staying in it for a long time. If you're not conscious of what the emotions are doing to you, where that yucky feeling, that's how and what we call maybe even depression comes to you, you don't know how it's coming to you, where it's from, you're not able to change it. It's like when you do a certain exercise, if you do it at a very conscious level, you start consciously, you start to do it in a certain way consciously, but then you get into that state that is part of your subconscious, and therefore you're not being affected by the tension and pressure that is being applied through the movement of energy, because it does intensify. So you're going from that very conscious level to a little subconscious consciousness. And that's how our system works to be able to continue working for a long time. And that's the power of the subconscious mind, because when you consciously put in your subconscious, it starts to work for you. Work for you in a perfect way that you put it in there. That's why after practicing a certain exercise, the kriya, meditation, it happens automatically for you now. You don't feel the tension and pressure physically to be able to sit longer, recite the mantras longer, chant longer, close your eyes longer, be at a place of center and peace longer. So now the other side of this, if you're unconsciously reacting to your environment in a habitual way through the subconscious. You're going to be in that mode for a long time. You're going to be angry all the time. You're going to be depressed all the time. You're going to be confused and lost all the time. You're going to be not happy because it's an automatic reaction. But if you consciously bring a certain emotion up, and when it comes up, you're conscious of it, you won't stay in that state for a long time. The whole concept of being alive as a conscious human being, that's why you only live 100 years, because the consciousness requires energy, requires movement of energy, tension, pressure, friction, and stress. You constantly put in this as part of your consciousness. If you're unconsciously in pain, but that has become your automatic response to things, and that's become in a way, your comfort zone. Not that you're comfortable in it necessarily, but it has become your known. You're known. You're going to be reacting to life as such. You're going to be having the same behaviors. But if you become conscious of it, the fact that you are becoming conscious of it, that awareness is not easy, is not pleasant in the moment. Oh my God, I'm such a horrible person. That what you may think, or I'm lacking this, or I'm you feel badly about yourself. But that's a necessary step for you to go beyond whatever state of the mind, what emotion you are. And as soon as you become conscious of it, you quickly are able to change it. You want to shift. But if you keep yourself stuck and not take the action, move the energy, starting with your vibrational self and vibrational energy, you're going to be in hell. You're going to be suffering, in conflict with yourself in everything, and you're not going to be able to accomplish anything. As soon as you become aware of something that, okay, this is not what I want, you gotta now take action and do something about it. Now, we have misunderstood what action is. Doing something about it is not necessarily always a physical action, as we are conditioned to know about. Physical action is necessary. Some kind of idea. When you think differently, when you bring your ideas in a different way, when you react, when you that emotional direction that starts with your thought, that's also action. When you meditate, that's taking action, doing something about it.
There's so much packed into, just a few minutes of discussion. But the main thing that I take away from Ramtin's comments here are that whatever you put in your subconscious mind kind of recapitulates itself. So you can consciously choose to put things in there that are going to make your life easier, make you feel better, elevate your situation, whether it's financially, romantically, relationship-wise, your mood. Or if you're not consciously kind of being a gatekeeper about what you let in your subconscious mind, then you're likely to continue with the same patterns, because whatever's in your life right now is a reflection, or maybe not even whatever's in your life. How you feel about your life right now is a good indicator of what's in your subconscious mind. And if you don't consciously choose to change that, then your experience of life is unlikely to change dramatically. So this idea of consciously impacting the subconscious mind is a really powerful one. And I also love his point that taking action isn't always like getting the things on your to-do list checked off. So sometimes taking action is just consciously choosing a different thought. Sometimes taking an action is not taking an action. So like if there's something you think you should do or you have on your calendar that you feel intuitively is not a good fit for you, don't do that thing. So I guess the action is canceling it. But you get the point. What we're not trying to say that you need to do more. The idea is to take conscious action. And some of that can be energetic and emotional shifts. And the beauty of Kundalini Yoga is that it helps us with this, right? It helps us release stories from our subconscious mind that aren't serving us. And it helps us be more conscious about the choices that we are making. As he was talking, though, another thing came to mind that's actually from my experience as a therapist. And I forget if I've shared this on the podcast before, but the concept is that of a cognitive triangle. And so the idea is that in any given situation, your experience can be categorized on a triangle. So envision a triangle, and then the top would be your thoughts. The lower left-hand corner would be your feelings, and the lower right-hand corner would be your behaviors. And so the idea is that your experience as a human being in any given moment is kind of a combination or a collective of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And the reason this is helpful is because those are the three areas in any moment from which you can intervene. And so you can change the thoughts that you're having, you can change the actions that you're taking, and you can change the feelings that you're having. So changing your feelings is a little bit more complicated, but some people are able to just say, like, it's not worth it to be stressed. I'm just going to stop stressing over this, and they can drop it. If that's not you, that's okay. You still have the other two sides of the triangle to intervene on. And so changing your thoughts, that's often where mantra comes in. So mantra works on, energetic and spiritual levels that this triangle isn't going to capture because it's, from a psychology point of view. But mantras also do interrupt your thought process. And so that's a beautiful way to kind of intervene on the thought part of your triangle. You can also just practice thought stopping. Like if you have a repetitive thought, automatic thought that creates difficulty for you or pain for you. Like one of mine is, I don't have enough time. Oh, I'd like to do this. This is going great. This is great, but I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. So if I can catch myself having that thought and reframe it, for I have plenty of time if I prioritize what I really want to do, then it changes my experience, right? It changes the other parts of the triangle, both what I do and how I feel. And then the other part of the triangle you can intervene on, of course, is the behavior. So the classic example is if you're feeling depressed and you're understandably not wanting to leave your home or interact with other people, then you're going to feel more depressed. And so intervening with that behavior and being like, no, today I'm taking a shower. I'm going to leave my house for 30 minutes. I'm going to say hello and smile at two strangers, even though I'm faking it. That's kind of an example of how you can take action on your behavior, which will change your experience, and then can start deprogramming or reprogramming kind of what's coming out of your subconscious mind, or what those automatic thoughts that you have coming in are. Yeah, so again, let me know what you think about an episode like this, or even if it just doesn't really feel any different to you than the other ones. But again, this recording is just slightly different because it's Ramtin sharing his thoughts into a recorder versus to a live class. All right, let's transition into our meditation. So the meditation that we're going to do today is called Nadi Cleansing. And so as we've been talking about, we have 72,000 energetic channels throughout our body. And two of the main ones are the Ida and the Pingala Nadi. And these ones cycle up or spiral up our body. And one is associated with the left nostril and one is associated with the right nostril. So we are going to kind of use some timing with our left and right nostril breathing, which is something new. We're adding a new element to our pranayama practices that we've been doing to balance those nadis. And the benefit of this is we burn karma. So karma is like when you feel stuck in these cycles, you kind of like have the same challenge over and over again. Usually that challenge is there to teach you a lesson or help you get back on your soul's path. And so you have the same challenge show up repeatedly in different circumstances or relationships to help you move back towards your path. But by doing this breathing, you can kind of clear some of that karma so you don't have to go through those cycles so much. I mean, that's a very simplified version of it. And that's one way to like easily think about what burning karma can do, is just help you get unstuck where you felt stuck before. Okay, so let's get started. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, yeah, so we want to sit in a comfortable position. It's best to do this on an empty stomach. So if you're feeling full, then you can still listen and just do long, deep breathing. We'll start with long, deep breathing, and you can continue that throughout the practice if you've just eaten. But if you don't have a full stomach, then you can go ahead and do the practice. Okay, so let's get started. So bring yourself into a comfortable seat. Sit up nice and tall. Open that heart. Bring the shoulders up, back, and down. Crown of the head is nice and high. Chin comes back so that the back of your neck is open. Closing the eyes. And let's begin with that long, deep breathing. So inhaling into the belly. Once the belly is full, expanding the chest. And the last sip of air comes up into the upper heart clavicle area. And then the exhale goes the opposite way. Clavicle comes down, ribs contract, navel to spine. Eyes are closed. Inhaling, belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. Beautiful. So now we're a little more centered. What we're going to do is we're going to time our breath to a certain rhythm. And so we're going to bring our right hands up and close our right nostril. And we're going to inhale for 1. So inhale. And then we're going to hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to exhale for 2. 1, 2. Beautiful. And then we're going to switch nostrils and do the same breathing pattern. Inhale for 1 count. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2 through the same nostril. 1, 2. Great. So we're back to the left nostril. Inhaling 1. Holding for 4. Exhale 2. Alternating nostril. Inhaling for 1. Hold for 4. Exhale for 2. Eyes are closed at the third eye. Alternating nostril. Inhale 1. Hold for 4. Exhale for 2. Go ahead and continue at your own pace. So inhaling for 1 count, holding for 4, exhaling for 2. And so you want to keep that consistent ratio, but if you're feeling out of breath and need to go quicker, then you can speed up the pace. Inhaling 1, holding 4, exhale 2. Another technique you can use is to use mantra to guide your timing. So you can inhale for 1, sa, ta, nama. Hold for 4, sa, ta, nama, sa, ta, nama, sa, ta, nama, sa, ta, nama. And exhale for 2, sa, ta, nama, sa, ta, nama. Beautiful. So if that works for you, you can use the mantra. If you just like it to count, you can just count. We're just alternating nostrils. In each nostril, inhaling 1, Holding 4. Exhaling 2. Do 2 more cycles. Inhaling 1, holding for 2. Holding for 4. Exhale for 2. Alternate nostril. Inhaling 1, holding for 4. Exhaling for 2. Bring that right hand down. Inhale deeply through both nostrils. Suspend the breath gently. You can squeeze your body like a tube of toothpaste, directing the energy up the central channel of the body, out the crown of the head, eyes at the third eye. Exhale, relax your shoulders, relax your face, relax the breath. Just sit in observance and connection of yourself. Noticing what, if any, mental, emotional, and spiritual shifts occurred during that pranayama practice. Knowing that it's always here for you. And blink open your eyes. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me for this meditation today. You know, the more you meditate, the more you connect with yourself, the more you release your old karmas. Not only are you helping yourself, but you're helping the collective human experience. Because as you heal yourself, your vibration impacts every single person you come into contact with, and shines a light for them so that they can care for themselves and they can connect with themselves, just like you've spent this 3 minutes doing. And so I'm in gratitude to you for your practice, whether this is your first time or your 1,000th time doing a practice and connecting with yourself. I'm in deep gratitude to you for doing your part. Okay, what a great practice and discussion for this episode. I feel like this one and the last one are 2 of my favorites we've ever done. But I'm always curious for feedback. So if there are episodes or styles of episodes you like more than others, just let me know. Or topics that you want to learn more about. We are totally open to feedback and direction from you guys. You can just email me at jen@heartcenteredrevolution.com. Or of course you can message me on Instagram. We're at Heart Centered Revolution on Instagram. And before I let you go, I just wanted to remind you that Ramtin and I are hosting a Renew Year retreat this new year. So we're going to spend a few days over the new year at this house in Temecula here in Southern California, just really disconnecting from the hecticness of that time of year and going within. So our goal is to release what's no longer serving with us, connect with our highest selves, and set some really pure and intuitively guided intentions for 2020. So while we're there, we're going to create this small intimate group, like a little bubble away from the world, and just take this opportunity to reflect and kind of reset. So we'll be doing daily Kundalini yoga and meditation practices. Heather is going to be cooking all of our meals for us and sharing how we can use our relationship with food as a way to connect deeper with ourselves rather than using food as a way to disconnect from ourselves. We'll be doing a rebirthing Kriya. We're bringing a gong, so there will be plenty of gong baths. And then there's also going to be plenty of downtime to reflect. So you can have time to do your own journaling or just walking or just relaxing and letting your nervous system kind of come back into balance before we transition into the new year. And we're going to do a New Year's Eve celebration. So we'll have a cacao ceremony, a little kombucha toast, and we'll kind of have a little ceremony to honor the new year. So if you want to learn more, you can go to heartcenteredrevolution.com/retreat. That link is also in the notes for this episode. Like if you're listening to it on Apple Podcast, there should be a link in the description. Or you can go to the show notes for this episode, which would be at heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 31. And I should also mention that we have some early bird pricing that ends December 1st. And so if you're interested, you should sign up before then and save a few dollars. And to help you make your decision, I'm going to include in this episode the conversation that Heather and I had about how the retreat came to be, kind of where the inspiration came from, and then us talking about kind of why we included some of the pieces that we're including. So this conversation was included on episode 29 of our podcast where I interviewed Heather. But I thought it would be helpful to put here in case you're thinking about doing the retreat and you haven't listened to that episode yet. So here's that conversation. I was visiting Heather in San Diego, interestingly, on a sailboat. And we were just working and visiting, and just kind of out of the ethers, this idea popped into our mind through our intuition, to create a loving space and time and retreat to help our people transition for the new year. And so we had talked about how the new year has a lot of hype around it. And at least I know for myself, every new year I tell myself I'm going to set aside, a few days. I'm going to journal. I'm going to reflect. Yeah. I'm going to connect with myself, set my intentions for the next year. Like, it's such a beautiful time to release, to go within, to get into alignment. But I never do it because I get busy and there's activities going on and socializing, and I have work duties over that time. And so unless I were to commit to something like this and take myself out of the day-to-day, then I would never be able to honor that time period the way it should be. And so that's where kind of the impetus for this retreat was born.
Totally. Absolutely. I was like, for the new year last year, I did a little mental detox with Byron and Katie for the day. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do that again. And then Jen and I are like, oh, wait, why don't we just lead one? And now we're all benefiting. I get to be your intuitive cook and see how the group feels and create meals from create meals from that space of joy and support and connection. I know when I've cooked in other retreats, they're like, oh, wow, I didn't worry about food the whole time. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah.
My job is done.
Good. So we rented this awesome house in Temecula. So it's here in Southern California. We're going to be there it's like 4 evenings or 4 nights. Yep. And we're going to just do daily yoga in the morning. We're going to meditate at night. Heather's going to make us delicious food that she's going to prepare intuitively. Like, she's not going to have a full meal plan going in. She's going to feel the vibe of the group, of that time period, and create, beautiful meals for us. And so we're doing some Kundalini practices and meditations every day. And then we have the food prepared by Heather. And then we will have plenty of downtime to kind of relax and integrate. And so this isn't the kind of retreat where you're going to have every minute filled up. The purpose is to relax and kind of receive and let go. And then 2 things I'm really excited about, especially for my Kundalini yoga people, is that we're going to do, one of the Kriyas is going to be a rebirthing Kriya. And so these are some of the Kriyas set aside by Yogi Bhajan to they clear such significant parts of our subconscious mind that you come out the other end of the practice like a new person. So that's why they're
Wow.
called rebirthing kriyas.
Wow.
And they're just amazing. I don't do them too much because they shift so much energy. I like to do one and then integrate for like 90
That's
days.
Cool.
But so we're going to do one to help us kind of transition out of 2019 and into 2020.
And when she mentioned this, she didn't even get all the words out. And I was like, yes, that, whatever you said. And then I'm helping us with our subconscious, with our relationship with food. So we're just, and when you just said that too, when we create space, there's more that can flow in. And that's what we're doing. And 2020, this year, we always say it every year, but this one feels really powerful. 2020 vision, clarity. So when you said we're doing the rebirthing Kriya, I was like, okay, how can I sign up for this?
I know.
I'll cook.
I'm excited that I get to be there. And then we also have a gong coming with us. So we were able to get a Chiron gong. And so we'll do some gong baths and gong relaxation, which also releases subconscious. So this is such a good opportunity to get in contact with yourself, release what's no longer serving you, that's like below the surface, that stuff that's easy to avoid and ignore all year when you're busy. Yeah. And then we're also going to spend some time setting intentions for the next year and really celebrating life, being joyful. And so if you want to learn more, you can visit heartcenteredrevolution.com/retreat. So I'll have a link in the show notes for this episode, or you can always email me at jen@heartcenteredrevolution.com because we would love to meet all of you there. It's going to be really special. I also should say that there's a small number of people that can go. Like this is a very small retreat since it's the first one we're doing. Yeah. So if you're interested, you really should sign up soon. All right, that is it for this episode of the Heart-Centered Revolution podcast. If you want to learn more about Heather and get to know her and her work, she's really just an amazing human being to know, you can listen to episode 29 of the podcast. Thank you so much for being here and for all of your support. Ramtin and I love you so much. Sat Nam.